Hey there, YouTube land. Big Dave here. So here I am. It's quiet, and I thought we'll do a Sunday morning chat. And here I am sitting in the kitchen. I have my coffee. Still waiting for my coffee sponsor. So I like this mug. It's a Starbucks mug. And I'm drinking Starbucks Cafe Verona. Maybe Starbucks will be my coffee sponsor. We'll see. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm still waiting for a coffee sponsor. So I'm always reading the comments and questions that people send me. And one of them was on one of the Clarinet videos. And I said, okay, well, maybe it's time to do just a clarinet talk, and just some general stuff. So right now, I don't play the clarinet much at all. It's been in the closet, and it doesn't get much use. I did play a little solo thing for somebody a few months ago, and that was interesting. And I have some pieces now that I'm working on, and I'm going to play them here and there, just as little feature spots. None of them are longer than a few minutes. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, so yesterday I decided I wanted to get out some reeds, and I'll just show you what happened, because it was kind of interesting. I put them down over here, and now they're stuck. So I was using those V21 Van Doren Plus 3.5, and I liked them, but they really only play on one mouthpiece. If I use a different mouthpiece, they don't play on there, and then I go back to my regular reeds, which are 3.5, either V12 or the Blue Box Van Doren, which I played for years and years and years. Except on my old mouthpiece, which is long gone, it was just no good anymore. It got wrecked. I used to play the 4s. And then I had to find, after I broke that mouthpiece, I had to find something else. So I don't know how long it's been already. It could be, well, let's see. It's at least from the 1990s when I had the other mouthpiece that I switched over to the Van Dorens, mostly the B46. And I have a couple of these. One of them is the one I use all the time. And this is just out of the box. And this is my old ligature when they first came out with these. I've had this for a really long time. I don't know how long. I have a newer one. That's the Van Doren. I don't know what it's called. The Van Doren with the plates in it. So that's what it's called. And my other B46 is this one, the opening. This is the one, let's see. Yeah. This one, the tip is thinned out, and it's open a little bit more, because at one time I used to play some different kind of Dixieland and big band jazz stuff, and we always needed to have a little bit more punch. So rather than change to a different mouthpiece, I decided, well, we'll just open up one of these and thin out the tip a little bit until it does what I want it to do. So that's what this one is. It's still a B46. And this is just another regular B46. And as far as I remember, I think the tip got banged just a little bit. So I just dressed it up. And it still plays almost like a stock one. So I can use this one or the other one. And they're basically about the same kind of feeling. But anyway, so yesterday I started working on a piece, and I started messing around with it, and I wanted to go through these reeds. And what I found was some of the reeds were just so soft, and I used to play 3.5s all the time, and they were just so buzzy and soft. So I put them back in the container. And then a few of them were kind of resistant, like they didn't want to play. And I just put those back in the container. And these are the ones I found that were like kind of in the middle. They had something to them. But if you look at the design, one thing I noticed about these guys, well, let's take one out. If we can see it in the light. Here we go. Is they all have, these that I picked out without me even looking at them, they all have a really nice heart going up in the middle, and the shape is really good. It's symmetrical. And I didn't really work on any of these. They kind of just played how I wanted. These are not all new. Some of these I've used in the past. But I'll just take another one out randomly. And let's put this one up against there. But you can see almost the same thing here. Slightly different, but has a good heart. And then that free space around, more around the tip, that lets it speak. But still it has a lot of nice, and even at this angle in the light, you can see where it goes up, has a nice heart in the middle. If there's not enough heart in the middle of the reed, it's all buzzy, and it's weak, and it makes your lip tired, and that's when you get the biting, where your teeth are hurting your lip. Now this one is a little bit different, and I don't really know what reed this is, because Van Doren does not mark the back of their reeds. From the blue box to the V12s, for some reason, they're all the same. It's only later they started marking like the V21, it says on the back. So I really don't know if this is a V12, but this one you can see where the heart, the middle of the reed, is lower. And it kind of slopes around lower down the reed, and there's more light coming through towards the tip. And after testing it, I just gave this a G. It was good, but it didn't get me all, where I wanted to give it a G plus or even a VG. It's just a G. It was good. Here's another one. Now this one I marked okay. So this one was okay, but you can see, again, it's similar to that other one. It has more of free space on the top, and the heart does not go up quite as far. So those are kind of things you have to deal with when you look at these reeds, to see where the heart goes, and see if it's something that is going to work for you, especially in the high register, because a reed that's too thin, when you go up into the top, it's going to make your mouth tired because it just collapses right away. It's also going to be on the buzzy side. Now, this is one of the ones that had a nice tall heart and had a nice shape up here. And let's see how I marked this one. I don't think I marked anything. Let's see. G plus. See? So that got a G plus. And that's without me. I wasn't studying. I was just playing them to see how they played. And let's go back to this one. This is another one that I liked, and it has a nice heart in it. And let's see what I marked this one. A G. So this was a good, but it wasn't super exciting. The other one was a little better. But you can also see if the shape of the heart on this one is not quite as nice to me as the shape on the other one. So that's something that kind of matters, when you're doing this. Now, I'm going to take this. This is a reed I have not used in a while, but this is one that I know I used on several jobs to do different things. This is also a 3.5. But let's look at this one, because I know this is one. I didn't mark it, but I know this is one I used in several jobs in the past. So let's look at this one. And this has a really good shape to it. You can just see the heart goes up, more in the middle, and it has a nice space, an air space, but more towards the tip, but there's still lots of heart going up the middle, tall up into the reed where it has support. So if you have to push on it just a little bit, it'll hold up without making your lips sore. And we're not talking about like in pressure. It's just support. You're giving a little support to the reed here. And I mean, you shouldn't be pressing really hard with the lip. If you are, there's a problem. Either the reed is too stiff, or maybe your mouthpiece is too big, it's too open, or the reed is too weak. If the reed is too weak, you're going to be trying to compensate, especially with the pitch. It's going to play flat. So you have to kind of like be careful about what kind of reed you pick to play on your mouthpiece, if it's going to work or not. Now, this is one I decided I picked yesterday, and this, I don't think this was a new reed. It may have been one I used in the past. See, I have another one of these ligatures with the plates, and this one I'm using the 4 buttons on there. This is a newer one. I bought it, oh, let's see, maybe 2016 or 17 I bought this one. The other one is from the 1990s, I think. Anyway, so this is a reed that I decided I liked enough where I was going to start just working with it a little bit. And let's see what this one looks like in the light. I really didn't check it out or compare it. So this doesn't have a terribly tall heart. You see, it goes up, and there's still a free space on the top to vibrate towards the tip. So this doesn't have a super tall heart, but there was something I liked about the way it played that I decided to work with this one. And another thing I did yesterday, because I hadn't played in a while, I just wanted to see, just go through a few of my mouthpieces and see which one I felt I wanted to work with right now to do these things I'm going to try to do. And I decided to use one of my Rico, whatever these are called. They're not a Premier. They're called Reserve. Rico Reserve. This is a 10, an X10. Yes, X10. So I know the reason it's a 10 is because the opening on here is supposed to be 110. I never measured them. I have no idea. I have 2 of them that I picked out when they kind of first came out. I said, oh, well, I'm going to go find one. So this one plays a little bit different than this one. And nothing's been done to them. They're the same as I got them out of the box. And I went to at that time, you could still go and try stuff out. And the rest of them, like I showed you, I was using my B46. And that's what I was using for most of that stuff. I have a couple of those. And I have other stuff too, but I have some mouthpieces I use for chamber music. That's a M30. And it has more of it's closer, and it has more of a thicker kind of a rail on it. It doesn't have the brightness of some of these other ones. So if you're in a certain room that has a certain sound, like for example, sometimes you play in a church and it's got this tremendous echo to it. I try to just get the clarinet to be a little bit less if I have to do that, so it's not quite so much. Or maybe I'm playing with some other instruments like a viola or something like that, you know. But it's not something I would use for Dixieland or a big band. It'll get all swallowed up, you know, in no time. I'll be forcing, like, blowing too hard. All right. So we're just discussing some stuff here. Anyway, I'm going to put this back in my case and deal with it later. And then I thought I would bring another point out to you. And this is very important. As far as I'm concerned, what I'm going to tell you now is really important. And it's something I learned years ago from a teacher that was kind of making a simple point. and that's about the pinky nail. Make sure, if you play the clarinet, that you keep your pinky nails well trimmed. See, these both trimmed down, but I didn't bother with the other nails quite yet, right? And know where these circles are. I told you on another video at one time, you could just pick up one piece of the clarinet and sit around with it while you're doing something else, even while you're watching TV or some other kind of thing, and find where these fingers fit. You should always be able to feel the opening of the tone hole. If you're not feeling that and your finger's somewhere else, that pad of your finger should always feel that tone hole. Now, sometimes the clarinet is out of adjustment, and I also said this on another video that I made also. If these rings are out of adjustment and they're too high, and you only feel the rings and you don't feel the tone hole itself, you have to get your clarinet adjusted because it's out of adjustment. These rings have to go down over the tone hole. So if you're pushing this down and you can't feel the tone hole because the ring is pressed up too high because of some maladjustment, you have to get it fixed. That's not correct. It's not anything. It's supposed to all go down together, and you should be able to feel where those holes are. And then these keys, if you just sit around, you could just sit around and do something else. Look, you could watch something on TV even, you know, and just really know where these keys are, that you find them. You don't need to practice play into the instrument. Same thing with the other hand. You take the other one out and just sit and find these holes and know where they are and know what's going on. This is for another time. And these keys up here, I watch some people when they play and they go from here and they do this, from F sharp up to the A or the B flat or whatever it is. Okay? Don't do that. just roll your finger into it. That's what it's there for. All the best teachers I ever went to made a big fuss about just rolling into this, never lifting it up. There's no reason to lift it up. It's not something that I would do. Just roll into it. You should be able to just go right into these. You know, and the thumb, if your thumb is all doing this, you know, you have to get it back here. This should just be like right there so that you're over that hole. Again, you're going to need to feel that hole and just have enough to grab that those levers. But this is all stuff you don't need you don't need to put it together to practice. You could just sit and find where those holes are, and also this G sharp, it should be nice and tight. If it's loose and floppy, it's no good. This has to close, and it has to close fast. So if any of these keys like this are loose, you got to get the springs tightened up. Or if you know how to do it yourself, take them off, tighten up the springs. This one too. These all need to be really crisp. So when you press them, they move right away. All right. So that's it. Here we are. And we had this little discussion. Cork grease. I'll just finish with this. By the way, I have nothing to do with Van Doren. They don't know who I am. You know, they're a company somewhere in France. I don't know. I've been using their stuff forever. And I've never been to their place. I've never been to their showroom. I've never done anything except go to the store, order them online. So I have nothing to do with Van Doren. So this is not an ad for Van Doren by any means. But I've been using this cork grease forever. I just like it on the Clarinet. Some of the cork greases are that white cheapy stuff, and you put it on and it's like garbage. This has body to it, and you put it on the cork and it stays. And also, if you take a little bit under your fingernail to put on the middle joints, it kind of stays nice. That white stuff is like, forget it. Don't buy the white stuff. It's junk. Just, like I said, I have nothing to do with Van Doren, but, this is cork grease, real cork grease. And that other stuff is, I don't know what it is. It's junk. So I don't waste my time with it. All right. Have whatever you need for your favorite thing to take care of those pinky nails so that they're not catching on those keys. Because all these keys, and once you put that Clarinet together, once you put this together, oops, let's just line it up. These should be, like especially this one, when you go down for this one, if you have a pinky nail, you're going to catch another key. And especially if it's going fast and you're moving stuff around over here and you need to use an alternate, every time you go to hit this alternate, you're going to be grabbing something else. So that's why you want to keep those fingernails. My Clarinets are tight. I don't like loose joints on the Clarinet because it always causes a surprise. So I have my corks, and as soon as they're not snug anymore, I just go and have somebody put new corks on, because although those corks have not been changed in at least 10 years. Because the person who did them really knows what they're doing. And those corks, I keep them cork greased, and they're all nice and snug. All right, so there it is. It's Sunday. It's pretty cold here in New Jersey. It's like 20 degrees. So I'm not rushing out there to do anything. And I thank you for following along. This is a longer video than usual. Maybe because I'm just sitting here and I decided, well, we'll just keep talking about some Clarinet stuff. Okay, have a good day. And thank you for following along and subscribing. And, I always enjoy people that send me a message or make a comment or something. And it's, I'm not monetized, so I really don't care about how many views and how many questions people ask. And, it's just open conversation. And that's it, so you feel free to send me a message or write a comment or whatever. It's just neutral stuff. All right, have a good day. Bye-bye.